Hey everybody, especially to fellow cricket fans across the globe, we're back with our second episode at the Cricket Exchange. Welcome back, Abhishek, Rohan, and Salim. Trust you've had a good week. So in episode one, our introduction was pretty brief, and understandably so, as we wanted the cricket to be the hero. But let me introduce ourselves a bit more before we start episode two. The four of us have closely bonded over cricket for almost 2 decades now, exchanging views and interests about everything cricket. As we've gone about from being students to thorough professionals today in our life journey, growing with each other over cricket. So, Abhishek here is a successful business analyst and self confessed sports buff with a special interest in football and cricket. He's our go to guy for all stats and trivia about cricket. Our Crickepedia guy carved himself to this description perfectly out of pure passion for the sport. Rohan is a top notch SAP consultant and continues to passionately and actively play cricket with his local club in Great Dunmow, Essex, UK. Years ago, given a choice of settling down in the US or the UK, he chose the UK clearly, as you guessed right, to pursue his love for cricket. And Salim here is the sporting hero of the group, ex captain of his school and college football teams, winning football team, super passionate about cricket, specifically Indian cricket. He's also a successful corporate and executive based out of Singapore. And lastly, me, Madhu, an out and out cricket buff, bits and pieces player, in and out of cricket action right from school, college, corporate levels, but never tried out professional cricket. One of my big regrets. And like in cricket, I'm also a bits and pieces marketeer. Back to this week, we continue to talk about our favorite topic, Test cricket, especially about the just concluded first test between Pakistan and South Africa, an exciting contest in a historic series. Let me quickly stress on the significance of the series. Firstly, for a cricket fan, and secondly, for an Indian cricket fan. Post the unfortunate terror attack against the touring Sri Lankan team in 2009, Pakistan was internationally shamed and countries refused to tour Pakistan. International itinerary only got back about 10 years later in December 2019 with Sri Lanka and Bangladesh briefly visiting Pakistan. So South Africa became the first non-Asian cricketing team to tour Pakistan in 13 years. This is part of the bilateral series and, of course, part of the World Test Championship that we are following so closely. So, from an Indian cricket fan point of view, Pakistan has some really exciting superstars in the recent years, and they are the next most exciting cricket nation in the subcontinent after India. And the South African Test pace attack. What do we talk? What do we talk about that? They're always worth following wherever they play for us cricket fans. And before we set the ball rolling, I want to say I love Pakistan cricket's hashtag Har Hal Mein Cricket. I recollect our time at Lords, the Pakistani fans who are totally clued on, super passionate cricket fans, just like us Indians, from 5-year-olds to 80-year-olds in the stadium, excitedly cheering the cricketing heroes. So it's awesome for Pakistan cricket fans to immerse themselves in action at home. Great stuff. All right. So, Abhishek, please give us some context to the Pakistan South Africa series.
It's thanks, Madhu. I mean, it's been huge because considering the fact that yes, this was the a start of an era, return to Test cricket in Pakistan. There cannot be anything better than that. The Pakistani fans deserve it fully. I mean, they were deprived of Test cricket for all these years, and even the youngsters who were deprived of playing on their home soil, and they proved it with the result. And if you see, and all the more reason why it's more special it's because it was at the National Stadium in Karachi, because not many people know Karachi was Pakistan's Gabba, and they still hold the record that Pakistan never lost a Test match in Karachi for 34 years. That's more than what Australia was unbeaten in Gabba
So
for.
we continue with our GABA
Yeah. I'm
reference
not getting into
for
that,
a
don't
while
worry.
now.
Don't worry about that. I'm not getting into that. But till 2000, which was Pakistan's cricket's greatest times, they were unbeaten in Karachi for 34 years. So that's what makes it more special to have returned to Karachi,
That's a
wonderful
stellar record.
cricket-loving city, and it's also a start from a cricketing point of view. Also, it's a great start of an era because they had a new captain, Babar Azam. Uh, he has captained in ODIs and T20s before, but as a Test captain, this was his first, and what a great moment for him to have started off when Test cricket returns to Pakistan. And from a South African point of view, it's a sort of a start of an era. They are in the rebuilding phase, and which started off in the home series against Sri Lanka. They also have a new captain, Quinton de Kock. Huge pressure on him as well. And they showed a lot of promise that yes, for the first 2 days they fought really hard and they showed a lot of promise. I mean, if you see there that we have hope that South Africa is going to be back soon. And a note for Aleem Dar, it was the familiar sight of Aleem Dar umpiring after a long time, 130 test matches, and first time he gets to officiate at home. That was, he must not have ever thought about it, even in normal circumstances with the neutral umpiring going on, the neutral umpires being the trend, and a Pakistani umpire standing in a test in Pakistan. That was really good to see. So what do you think, Rohan? I'm sure you must have caught up with the highlights and of this amazing test match.
Oh yeah,
So
absolutely. The
tell
match
us more
was
about
just,
it.
yeah. Thank you. The match was, I mean, it was so twisty and turny, wasn't it? Um, Quite a contest, but the expected result was achieved in the end, wasn't it? Remember what we said in our previous episode? Cricket conditions ka khel hai. South Africa batted first up. They got to a middling sort of a total 220 all out in less than 70 overs, right? Dean Elgar top scored with a typically gutsy half century at the top. 220 was not ideal, not quite what they would have hoped to achieve, but it was their first innings and a half decent outing against that bowling attack, given the conditions. Pakistan's first innings, they lost four early wickets, meaning 14 wickets fell on the first day. But they make a proper test match turning comeback from 27 for 4 to 176 for 6 to 278 for 7, which means they added a staggering 250 runs for the next three wickets, including another fabulous Fawad 100. Mr. Alam, we are your fans, sir. And then the last three tailenders added another 100 runs, something that our Indian lower order will be watching, we hope, and taking inspiration from. Now, what is a test match without a couple of fight backs? Eh? Now, South Africa fought back in the second innings after having conceded a lead of over 150 runs. Particularly, that steady and watchful second wicket partnership between Aidan Markram and Razzie van der Dusen. It would have given a lot of hope to the South African supporters, right? They even got to 175 for the loss of just one wicket. They had wiped off the lead and saved the match, one would have thought, with the contest being quite evenly poised in the last session on day three. But it was not to be, as Yasir, being his usually frugal self, along with the debutant left arm spinner Nauman Ali, they had put a lot of pressure and they had bowled tidily until then. They eventually broke through. Once the partnership was broken, the rest was almost a procession. They lost 9 wickets for 70 runs, with Nauman picking up his maiden test 5-4 in his debut match. So the two spinners, Yasir and Nauman, ended the match with 7 wickets each, leaving Pakistan with a target of 88, which they knocked off without much fuss and won the match quite comfortably in the end by 7 wickets. From a South African point of view, other than the mature innings from Markram and Van der Dusen in the second innings, and the usual solidity from Elgar in the first innings, the shining light was Kagiso Rabada. The young fast bowler is already a legend in my books, but is officially one in the making for most people now. He's not only one of the fastest to get to 200 test wickets, but also has the best strike rate of all the bowlers who have ever taken more than 200 test wickets. There is loads of such other interesting trivia, isn't there, Salim?
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. You touched upon Fawad Alam, and what a story. This guy, he's kept out of the scene for 10 full years. He's completely forgotten, comes back. And in this series, in this match, as you rightly said, Rohan, very precarious situation 27 for 4, bats for 220 balls, gets to his ton. And what a way to get to the ton. Ekdam aage aake sixer. Great way to get to that ton. And I personally loved this celebration, right? If you guys follow that series, Ertugrul Ghazi, he did that whole horseback celebration. Just loved it, man. And the other two interesting things about Fawad is that one, he's one of those few guys who scored 3 centuries across 3 different decades. So he's got 168 against Sri Lanka way back in 2009. He got one against New Zealand in 2020 and this one in 2021. And from a statistics perspective, uh, he's got zero 50s. I should be sad, but I'm not, because he's one of those guys who every
Convert.
single time when he's got a 50, he's converted that to 100. So I'm sure he's not complaining. And yeah, Norman Ali again, what a story. 34-year-old debutant gets a 2-for and then a 5-for, contributes significantly. I would actually say that it's the season for debutants. I mean, we've seen how Siraj, Washington Sundar, and Natarajan did so well. Even our channel, the Cricket Exchange, debuted in this season. So it's a good time to be a debutant. And finally, a word for the flying fox, Mohammad Rizwan. What a keeper, right? I mean, I want to call it out here on the Cricket Exchange. This guy is an absolute killer wicket keeper and a show legend in the making. And talking about other fun things, I just want to see what Madhu has to say before we wrap this show up.
Salim, on Norman, so I have a question. So is debuting at 34? I mean, is it anyway comparable to someone who debuts in Test cricket at the age of 23, 24 for a spinner?
Look, on the face of it, not the most ideal thing to happen, but I mean, I would actually look at the positive side of it. This is a lesson not just for cricketers, but generally for people, even folks like us, right? I mean, it's never too late for magic to happen. So I
It's
think there's a
it's
great
uh,
lesson for a
it's
lot of
it's
the domestic performers as well. To keep putting in the hard yards, and eventually things will happen.
and it's been a season of motivational speakers, right? They've got so many case studies. India in Australia was a motivational case study. Fawad Alam is a motivational case study, and now Nauman Ali. That's also uh,
Awesome, awesome.
an incentive for motivation gurus to bring in their presentations.
Madhu, for you to wrap up, what's your prediction back to the Pakistan South Africa series? What's your prediction before we wrap up?
I think it's going to be a washout for South Africa. Unfortunate. I'm sure they're going to keep fighting, but as we see, I don't expect them to win anything at all. They're going to lose all tests.
There are only 2 test matches, so I'll go for 2-0. Yeah, same here.
2-0. Yeah, we'll stick to this.
2-0 for me as well. Anyway, South Africa has not had a great track record playing in the subcontinent for quite a while. So I just guess the trend will continue. Okay, folks, thanks for your time. Please do like, subscribe, and share our video. We've just started this, a bunch of friends who are doing this, and really look forward to your support. Thanks a lot. Shabba khair. Goodbye.
Thanks.
See you
Bye bye.
soon. See you soon.